Next thing you want to do is to kind of figure out on gathering your resources. The first thing I'd suggest is to figure out what's already been written. You know, go online and do some searching online. Sometimes there's some histories in Wikipedia. Sometimes there's histories that people have written that have been posted online. Like on my mom's side, on my Tucker and Lurwil's lines, I have made a blog and I've posted some histories there of several of those ancestors. And, you know, every once in a while I'll have one of those cousins email me and say, you know, do you have this picture or these histories of these people? And I just post, you know, just give them a link to my blog. Or what happened last week or 2 weeks ago, I had a cousin I didn't even know about email me and say, thank you for putting that history online. I found it, and they were able to find it and read it and enjoy it. So the first thing you want to do is to see what's been written, either been published in a book, or that's online, or you know, whatever's been already written. That saves you some work. So that's always where I start. And then you'll want to check to see what's been written as you work through the project. Often these take years to do as you're working on histories. And so you want to check again towards the end, because maybe something has been added online since you started. Okay, pictures. This is one of my favorite resources, as you gather. As you're going through gathering pictures, there's a big tip I'm going to give you, and that is that have a pad of paper and a pen or a pencil nearby as you're going through those pictures. Because what will happen as you are looking at a picture, it'll evoke, you know, if it's one you're familiar with, it'll evoke some emotion or a memory as you look at that. And as you look at that, you'll want to jot that down. Just jot down a note, you know, about this story. Maybe you remember, oh, you know, this was the first time I went swimming in the swimming hole or something. And so if you jot down that note, it'll remind you of a lot of different memories that you'd forgotten as you look at these pictures. Pictures will do that. It does it for me a lot. And I've talked to many people that they've mentioned the same thing. So have a notepad handy and just make some notes there. Don't get sidetracked. Don't start writing the story. Keep working through your pictures, see what you've got. But as you jot down those notes, it keeps those from getting lost. So that's a little tip I'll give you as you go through your pictures. But the pictures will, you know, they tell a lot of stories. I mean, you know, the clothes that they wear, the way the hairstyles were, the place that it was taken. Okay, so videos and movies. Now this is not normally what you think about putting in a history, because a history is a written thing. And so let me tell you what I mean by looking through your videos and your movies. What I'm saying is, for the same thing that happens with pictures can happen with a movie. As you're watching a movie, you know, on those old movie reels or an old videotape, whatever it is, as you're watching that, you'll see some historical things happen. You may see the old house, or you may see the backyard, and it reminds you, oh yeah, we had that beautiful lilac tree in the back. Or, you know, we had this huge apple tree we used to always climb, and we made a tree house in it. Or you'll see things that will, again, evoke memories, and you'll jot those down. There's another way that you can include videos and movies in your history, and that is you can put a little jacket in the cover of your book, and you can put a DVD or a CD in the cover of the book. And so you can add some video to it that adds a dimension that isn't in the printed book. It's really a wonderful dimension. All right, another resource is letters. Letters, especially, you know, back in the early 1900s, old love letters, postcards, you know, that was the way people communicated. And there's a lot of letters. And the nice thing about letters is there is a huge amount of historical information in them. Because people are always saying, this is what was going on. You know, Johnny broke his arm, or, you know, Jack just graduated from high school, or Susie just had their first baby, or, you know, all of that information are in letters. And so if you've got a stash of those, and they're often up in somebody's attic, and they're all bundled together with string or something together, those are just valuable, very valuable things to do. And if you want to use those letters, but you don't want to just copy them, if you want to transcribe them, you can either transcribe them yourself or you can hire those things out. And it's quite economical to hire somebody to do that. Documents are a great resource. There may be some birth certificates, or a graduation from high school certificate, or a report card from school. All kinds of documents that people save documents. There's something that people save, and they mark milestones in people's lives. So documents are another great thing. And then heirlooms. This is another one that's not often thought of as far as resources, but heirlooms are a great resource. This radio is one that belonged to my Grandma and Grandpa Stevenson, my dad's mom and dad. And I remember it when I was a little boy and I'd go visit. I remember exactly where it was in the room. And when they passed away, my cousin inherited that. And then a couple years later, I was visiting my cousin, they said, "Do you want this?" We decided we don't want it anymore. And I got it. And I love to refinish furniture, and so I refinished all the wood on it. And what was interesting, this is one of those old tube radios. It still worked. Has a record player, this pulls out and it's got a record player in it. The record player doesn't work anymore, but the radio part actually still worked. All those tubes still worked. But what you can do with these heirlooms is, again, it evokes those memories. I mean, I remember, that being at my grandma and grandpa's house. And I remember them listening to it. They'd turn it on and everybody kind of gathers around the radio. And those are all memories that those heirlooms can evoke. The other thing you can do is you can take a picture of it, like I've done here, and then you can include that in the book. You can put that as one of the pictures that's in the book. Because heirlooms are pretty cool things, because they're often something that's significant. For some reason, it was saved and handed down from generation to generation. Now, maps are very helpful. It's a good resource to have when you're doing history of somebody that you're not immediately familiar with, say a grandparent or a great-grandparent. To have maps of where they lived are very valuable, because they'll talk about, I went from here to here, or I moved from here, or our family moved from here to here. And so that helps you to see how far apart that was and what the terrain was like, and it helps you to picture what it was all about. And then you can then include that picture in your writing so that your reader can picture what was happening. So maps are another very helpful resource.